This is a demonstration of how user information is input into the Proforma Maker. For illustrative purposes, sample user data has already been populated. We call this the UK project. Your company would be shown as the login party. For example, we're logged in as Williams Exporting, which is the name of the seller, fictitious company, and the user name that they've selected is Beta2. This would show up after you register. And we can open up whatever Proforma invoices they have created down here. We only have one at this point. And we open up the UK project. And the prospective buyer here is the proposed client. It is by the name of Burns Engineering Company. And you can select that and even alter that if need be by going in here to Burns, and you could change something down here, address, telephone number, whatever, what have you, and save that as the change. And you were selecting them, and that information carries over to the Proforma invoice. Your reference is very important because this is actually shows what will be the title of the Proforma invoice. Down here under transportation mode, we give the typical air, ocean, rail, truck modes of international transportation. This is what you're selecting as you think, the way you think it should be shipped. The forwarder may change that if it's not feasible to ship the goods in that fashion. The anticipated arrival date can be important because it can show the feasibility of the transportation mode choice to see if there's even service and can accommodate that. The Incoterms, very important item in that this shows when your risk of ownership transfers and also stipulates what cost components you as the seller will be responsible for. So these are the 11 terms of Incoterms 2010. And you'd select one of these. In this case, we're showing as an example delivered duty paid. And then you always want to put a delivery place after that. The next would be the method of payment, and we have various choices here. Typical would be open account, going all the way to an irrevocable letter of credit, site draft, time draft, that sort of thing. And then if the currency is going to be different from US dollars, you would show it here. Next, you would add the items of what you're shipping and what you're trying to sell to the prospective buyer. And any of these can be altered in any way. For instance, we could go in here, we could take the edit this, and we could say, well, we're changing the unit price from 1933 to, that should have been 1942. And instead of 950, we were actually increasing. The buyer wanted a few more, so we added a few more items, so we can save that as well. Again, this all carries over to the Proforma invoice. You can even go into each of these part numbers and edit anything in them. I can go to that B245, for instance, bring that up. You can see the information here that would be carrying over also to the Proforma invoice detail. And you can alter anything if you want to here. The next thing that the forwarder needs to know, in addition to what you're shipping, is he needs to know, well, how are you going to ship this? Meaning, how will it be packed? Will it be on pallets? Will it be in cartons? Will it be in drums? Will it be just loose? To what extent would the forwarder have to make arrangements to have it further packed for export? So here you have to give a rough idea, because at this point of the quotation, you probably don't know the exact weights and dimensions, but you have to give the forwarder at least some kind of reasonable idea of what's being shipped so they can determine whether it's going to fit in an airplane or fit in a container or various modes of shipment. So this too could be edited. So for instance, on this particular item here, this is 1 skid here. Say you wanted to increase this to 2 skids. You could do that very easily, and then you just save it, and automatically it'll now show the new cubic foot volume there. Again, it all carries over. There are numerous little pop-ups here that give you some guidance. And this is for the shipping notes, how the cargo is packed and relate to what extent, if any, export packing is required. Factors such as can the cargo be double stacked should be noted here. Very important, because obviously if you can double stack cargo in a container, you can put a lot more cargo in that container. So the next step would be you could save this. And you can come back to it later if you want to add more, alter something, edit something. Any of these items that you've previously put in here can be edited and changed because this hasn't been finalized yet. To finalize it, this is when you check this off. And you'll get a little note here. And it explains that eventually you're going to get an email from H.C. Bennett Company that we've received it and now we're analyzing this and we'll give you some feedback on it. So that's it of what you as the user would have to input. You then can go back to your return to web portal here and you can see the list of pro forma invoices that you have either have worked on previously and maybe they've become real shipments or ones that are being considered for sale to your prospective client. So this concludes the Pro Forma Maker demo number 1, which is from the user's input stamp perspective. The Pro Forma Maker demo number 2 explains the next step of what the forwarder does with the information you've input and how quote requests are created. Thank you.